shakes. He speaks, the mountains smoke. He speaks, kings and queens die. He is the prophet. This is Sollog. That's SOLLOG.com. Following is a segment from one of my podcast series. You can find my podcasts on Sollog.com. This is Sollog. My site is Sollog.com. You can go there and my books, and movies, and everything I've done in my art is on my site. What I'm discussing today, on March 10th, 2023, is the recent large earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Over 20,000 people are dead. This is CNN, and they're covering the story. Started out with a couple thousand. Now, 3 days later, it's up to over 22,000 dead. Now, I've been writing about quakes in this area for literally decades. Matter of fact, I have a major theory about earthquakes called EOE theory, which is the elliptical orbit effect. And basically, this triangle over the Pacific is where almost every superquake hits. Now, superquakes are the really rare ones that happen about once every 5 to 10 years. They're in the 8.5 to 9.5 range. And this triangle is where, on these exact three lines, where in the past almost 150 years, around 24 quakes have hit. The only exception to the Great Quake pattern of hitting these lines is the Great Nepal Quake that hit over near China and India. Nepal's basically where the Dalai Lama's from. So you had one super great quake, and then you had everything else on these three lines. Now, going back to these Turkey and Syria quakes, it wasn't a great quake. It was relatively small when you consider how powerful larger quakes are. It was only a 7.8 earthquake, about the same size that killed 250,000 people in Haiti. This size quake hits all the time in Mexico City area. It's killed hundreds of thousands of people over the years. So this is a killer quake, but this level quake, depending on how deep it is and how the ground is underneath it, can kill thousands of people, can also kill almost no one, if not no one, period. So it was a significant quake, and the interesting thing about this, if you're a fan of mine, at Sollog.com, you just hit this key up here, blog. Blog takes you to this section of my site. Sollog.com, blog. Okay, so here's blog. Excuse my internet's a little slow today. But when you hit blog, this is the page you're on. You can see on that page there's a section called Prophecies. You hit Prophecies. And on Prophecies, you go all the way down towards the bottom, and you'll see my main prophecies were issued year by year. And in 2001, 22 years ago, there's an earthquakes warning. You click that, and the earthquakes warning is going to take you to this page, which is basically a text file, and it lists
where I say major killer quakes are going to hit. Now, towards the bottom of this list, there's two key cities. One is Baghdad, Iraq, and the other is Ankara, Turkey. Now, if we go back here to, this is where the new quake hit in Turkey. We highlight Ankara, which I mentioned in my prophecy, and Baghdad. And as my prophecies have done over and over again, you just draw a line between two cities I named, and boom, that line goes right through where all these people died in Turkey. Direct hit. Now, did I say this exact area? No. But I did mention the key points that form what I call the pentagrams of blood all over the world. And these pentagram of bloods, if you go to my book site, Pentagram of Blood, that video explains that there's 7 pentagrams around the world. And the one in the USA has a whole bunch of killer quakes. So if you look at the map for USA that goes over North America, Mexico City, Port-au-Prince in Haiti, those are 2 anchor points. Najat up in Canada, Portland, St. John's, it forms this pentagram. And over, every mass death event from 9/11, TW800, most of the school shootings, Hurricane Katrina, all the major hurricanes, all the big mass shooting events, they're all connected to this pentagram, which when you close it also has events on it, and then you put a circle around it. So in other words, this is black magic. And this black magic, Haiti, where that earthquake hit, killed 250,000 people. There's been numerous Mexico City quakes that have killed hundreds of thousands of people over the decades. Los Angeles quake, San Francisco quake, right on the circle. So these points are energy points, and it's most likely proof to most people that we're in some sort of a game or simulation, and that basically every event you think you're reading about is fake. It's not real. Oh yeah, sure. You know, events like Sandy Hook and 9/11, oh yeah, a whole bunch of people died there. If it's a simulation, no one died. It's just all coding and programming. Nothing is real. So that's the point my work is at. Okay, is anything real, or is it all just a game and simulation? Because otherwise these events wouldn't be happening, as I've been saying. Now, if you go to the Europe Pentagram of Blood on pentagramofblood.com, you'll see another map with a pentagram, and Cairo to St. Petersburg goes right through Turkey where this quake hit. So again, every mass death event is happening on these lines. Throughout history, all the great wars are on these lines. World War II, World War I, you know, key battle sites, all on these lines. So why are all the humans dying over and over again on a few lines on a map? It's because it's a simulation, people. Everything is fake. You can say I'm crazy, you can say I'm nuts, but the bottom line is, over and over again, mass death events are happening. Now, if we go back and analyze this Turkey to Baghdad line, you can see that my earthquake prophecy 22 years ago said Ankara and Baghdad. And when you connect those two cities, it's a quake line. And right in the middle of it, boom, thousands of people are dead. Simulation, prophecy, reality, well, you know what's going on here, people. History will decide. Now, if again we go back here to my prophecies, you can go to Google Groups and do a search for Sollog, my name, and Quake Warning. And you can see here, in 2001, this information was put into Usenet, the old social media of the early internet, and verbatim to my Quake prophecies is that posting. Okay, so this exact posting that's on my site is timestamped 2001 by Google Groups, Usenet Groups, 2001, early July. I mentioned quakes, killer quakes, and again, you can see Baghdad's right there, and Killer Turkey's right there. Written on the first day of July 2001. So people, I've been talking about this for decades, and every government is involved in hiding my works. The tech companies hide my works. My sites are delisted from search engines. They don't want my work out there because I'm telling people, look, this is all bullshit. It's a simulation. So that's what's going on, people. These events are happening. You can go to my site, Sollog.com. Read the 100 books I've written about this stuff. Or you can go to my other site, pentagramofblood.com, and look at all the maps. See for yourself. And just be aware that there's not going to be a mass death event that happens in your lifetime that isn't on one of these lines. Just like in your lifetime, you will never see a quake over 8.5 anywhere in the world that isn't on one of these three lines exactly. Now, in this area is where the great quake hit that created the 2004 tsunami. Up here, 2011, the great quake hit that created the tsunami in Japan, Fukushima. So you've had two tsunamis right exactly on this map, and I've been talking about this triangle for decades, people. It's in my books. It's in articles on my sites. Soldani.com is another one of my sites that has a lot of my academic writings. That's SOLADONI.com. So people, this is where the really big killer quakes hit that can cause tsunamis. And then my other warning basically lists the areas that are created to lines where killer quakes can strike. And it doesn't have to be a super great quake in the 9.0 range to kill hundreds of thousands of people. You know, the Haiti quake and the Mexico City quakes weren't that powerful. They were smaller quakes. So smaller quakes strike all over the planet. And the bottom line, the super rare ones that only happen every 10 or 5 years or so, only on these three lines. So it's up to you to decide, people. Are we in a simulation? Is the fact that these quakes are striking where and when I say proof of the simulation? All I know is I'm not going to be here that long. I've been around for a long time. My health is pretty bad. I've had 9 heart attacks. Cat only has 9 lives, so they don't really expect me to be lasting any longer from these heart attacks. You're talking about a transplant, but I'm not sure I'm going to be getting a transplant. Anyway, my work is out there, the books are out there, and I don't know if there's really anybody here but me, having the illusion of being in a simulation, just enjoying life. What's real, people? Are these earthquakes real? Did 22,000 people really die in Turkey and Syria on the lines connected to my prophecy? What a game it is if it's a game. Anyway, this was Sollog. Believe it or not, I do feel empathy for the alleged lives that have been lost. But there's part of me that says it didn't happen. It's not real. It's just a game making us think this stuff is real. So there's one player, me. Are there any other players? Yeah, there might be some more players. But the majority of everything has to be fake, because this stuff is lining up too perfect to not be fake. Anyway, this is Sollog at Sollog.com. Have a great day.
Shakes. He speaks, the mountains smoke. He speaks, kings and queens die. He is